Blog Talk Radio. Where the Boys Are, I think that's a cute song. Actually, this is one of the few times that Todd and I have decided at the same time what song we should use for the intro. My name's Mandy Goodhandy, and I have my business partner and friend Todd Klinck on the line right now.
Hello.
One of the reasons we picked that song, Where the Boys Are, is because, it's like the young man that's going to be coming on this particular show is not just a male escort, he's also a porn model, and he does porn scenes with T-girls. So that song was kind of like the T-girls going, where the boys are, whatever. Not that I'm implying that Connie Francis is a T-girl, okay? So please don't go around, spreading that rumor. I wanted to talk about the news. I don't know, Todd. It's just maybe I watch the news too much, perhaps. I like to know what's going on, but I find myself very, very critical sometimes about the reporters. Sometimes it's very entertaining to watch reporters. Sometimes there's a lot of really good ones out there, don't get me wrong, but there's some that are just, why are they even on television? It astounds me. Like, for example, I was watching City Pulse, and I'm not going to mention who the reporter is, but there's a reporter, and he's over at the exhibition, and this is just an example. He's over at the exhibition, and you know how sometimes reporters stop people on the street and ask them things? And they kind of interview them and ask them questions, and, and where do they find these people that they stop and ask? And it's like, so he's asking questions, and this person got this blank look on their face, and it's like, well, why did you pick these people, to talk to? I don't know, Todd, is it just me? Sometimes you can stand someone who's going to have more than two words to say.
Well, yes, and it's not live. Those things are called streeters, and it's like a basic part of journalism, and they're really...
Yeah, they pull them over, right?
Yeah, and then they edit.
Yeah.
So they actually have choice.
They're just staying. And there was another reporter today, and how a lot of university students are starting at U of T, and another reporter stops these three young ladies and says, and asking questions. The three of them were just looking at her like she's from, like at Mars. And I'm thinking, why did you pick these people? Why did you pick someone who's not going to give you an interesting answer? It's like, it surprises me, that they don't maybe just kind of figure out, well, who do you think you're going to get an interesting answer out of, and who you're not. And it doesn't happen all the time. It's just sometimes, but, it's like I said, maybe I'm just watching too much news, and, and I see things like that. And, of course, it's entertaining for me as well. I giggle to start my day off. Is that what we call a pregnant pause? I'm really quite interested in this show tonight. Not that I'm not always interested in our shows, of course, because we have a lot of really fun, interesting people on. This young man is one of the few people I don't know in advance. I think I met him in passing at the club one time. He was introduced to me through Kevin Dong, who is a photographer and a film filmmaker for Groovy Productions, Shimo Yum and such. But and he introduced me to him in passing in the bar, and when I'm kind of wandering around the bar, I'm not really phasing into a lot of different things. I'm not concentrating. So I met him in passing, but I've never spoke to him. So it's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say, and I like the fact that he's someone who's going to be candid about his background and what he's currently doing. And it's a rarity, isn't it, Todd, to find someone who's going to be, really blatant.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, this is 2 weeks in a row grow now. So maybe this is a good sign that
Yes.
it's turning with the next generation of people.
No, it's great. I think it's. I believe and you believe. Own what you do, and don't let people make you feel like you should be ashamed of what you do. You know, as long as it's something that's not hurting people, of course. But I just think the more and more we're honest and upfront, you know, with each other, the more we can educate people out there. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have thought, well, you know, I wouldn't mind escorting, or I wouldn't mind doing porn or adult work, and they're afraid of how they're going to be received. And I think in a lot of cases, Todd, they're like heroes, these people that want to be honest about it. As long as they're doing it in legitimate, for legitimate purposes, they're making money. All they're doing is just trying to make a little extra money, doing what they do. And I think it's great that they own it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you do porn and you're putting your face out there, it's forever. Porn is forever. So we used to always tell our models that too. Like, don't hesitate. If you're gonna do it, do it. But we're not pressuring you to do it because it is out there. So you have to be willing to live with the stigma and own it and be proud of it. And that's the only way other people will get over it. Once they learn, hey, it's okay. You know, my friend did porn. Who cares?
Exactly. It's like, so what? It's just something on the side, something they enjoy doing, something they wanted to do. Yeah, we had a handful of people, Todd, in the past, they did a porn scene or a porn movie, and then kind of wrote to us a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year later, whatever it was, and go, oh, could you please take all our stuff down? And it's like, okay, the internet doesn't work that way. It's like we can personally help you out maybe and take your stuff down off of our particular websites, but once it's out there, you're right, Todd, it's like, that's it. It's out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of cases you can't help but own that career. And even with escorting, I mean, if you have an escort ad on the internet, that's out there forever, and people can save that. They can save your photos. They can save your information. So it's out there.
Well, and there's the Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine. I don't even know if you know about that, but you can go back. You can look up websites for, decades, and it'll show you a snapshot of what it looked like on that date. So it's forever. Everything is forever. Don't kid yourself. There's no such thing as privacy.
Now that we've scared everybody out of that, no one's come on to porn anymore. But okay, so we're going to talk to this young man. I believe his stage name is.
His stage name is Alex. Yes.
Yes. So Alexander Long. I like that. I know that he's on our. For those that don't know, we have a network site called worldonthefringe.com or ladyplus.com. It both goes to the same site, and it's where people want to meet people that are on the fringe, so to speak, and we have a great variety of people, fun people on there. And he has a profile on there, and that's the name he uses on his profile. So that's, I guess, what we're going to call him until he tells us different.
Hello? Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, Alex. How's it going? It's Todd.
Good. How are you?
Good.
I always like the beginning part when we phone the guest first, and then there's that pregnant pause again of, oh, who's this? Who's that? How you doing, Alex? This is Mandy Goodhandy on the phone as well, along with Todd.
How are you, Mandy?
You know what? I'm doing just fine. I was mentioning earlier before we brought you on that it's great that you're willing to come on and talk about your current career, so to speak, because not very many people are brave enough or have the guts to kind of talk about what they do and own it.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yes, I know. I can't even imagine what kind of lives they must have. But, all of a sudden everyone joins the priesthood or becomes a nun, and there's a lot of that out there. So
you're cutting out there a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen a lot. Are you on a cell phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sometimes that would happen if you're on a I'm on a landline, so it's actually you cutting, not me.
Oh, I
Or
see.
it's soft, it's going through the internet. It's being, processed and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully you can hear us.
Okay, that was Todd's technical explanation for the problem.
Well, so far so good. I'll let you know if I don't catch something. I'll just ask you to repeat it.
Yeah, oh, please do. If you can't hear it, that's not a problem. I was going to ask you about, maybe we could hear something about your background first before we get into what you're doing now, if you don't mind sharing.
No, not at all. I was originally born in Russia, Moscow. Came here when I was about maybe 13, 14 years old. Stayed in Toronto pretty much most of my life. And, so Russian-born, Russian-speaking, born and raised there. Came here with a family.
Did you come here with your family, Alex?
Yeah, came with my mother and father who left shortly to go back to Russia because he did not like it here.
How old were you when they left?
About maybe 15, 16.
So have you been on your own since then, or you have relatives?
Oh, it was just my father that left back. My mother is still here.
Oh, okay then. So, did you go to high school and all of that?
Yeah, high school. Actually went a little bit of maybe like 2 months of middle school until my credits came back from Russia. Then did high school, finished that. Went to college, Seneca College. Finished that, and then just kind of fell into this business randomly.
What did you study?
I did international business.
Well, you're certainly doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yes, we're all international business people. Once we're on the internet doing something that's related to the internet, then it's international. So, but you said you fell into it. It's you're giving me a shortcut there, right? How does one fall into it? I'm only asking you these questions. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's just that people out there listening would like to hear those kind of stories. I can probably figure it out myself, but so were you an escort first, or were you doing porn first?
I started doing escort first. I only fell into porn while I had a bit of a dry spell for a few weeks, and was kind of short for money, so I just started exploring other opportunities. And I just went online and checked out some people posting, asking for male performers, and then got together with, went through a few different bullshit artists, as I like to call them, until I found the one good, reliable guy that works for Groovies, and been working with him ever since.
Did you have you done any gay porn?
Well, the porn I do is with she-males, so I don't know if you can consider that one to be gay or not.
Well, we try not to.
Well, I mean, it's yeah. On my part, I don't do anything besides more just being a top.
So basically, what I ask you is, and maybe I just asked you wrong. Have you ever done any porn with other males?
No, not on camera.
Okay. No. Oh, you've done porn without being on camera?
No, that's talking about my escorting now. But
okay.
As far as yeah, but as far as the aspect of the business of being in front of the camera, no, it's only been with she-males.
Okay, is that what
I've also done one or two. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, is that what you prefer, or would you do porn with other men if the money was right?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I tried out for that before, but then the producer never got back to me, so he did not sound too serious.
When you went to do auditions, and believe me, I know what you're talking about when you say bullshit artists, because there's a lot of crap out there. People who claim to be producers of porn and they're not. They're just looking to meet either women or men or whatever
it took me a few tries to find out what the real people are, and just for anyone that's interested for that in the future, every time before I do a scene, I have to sign about 7 pages worth of documents. So like everything's like legitimate, and you don't get like hunted back by the government or something. So those are the serious type of people. The ones that come in and say, "Oh, here's some cash, and we're just gonna start shooting now," that's probably something you should stay away from.
You've done that? People just hand you cash and then they start filming?
Yeah, I did a solo scene, which was just me basically going down on myself and just in front of the camera with a guy there sweating watching over me. It seemed like he was enjoying himself more than he was interested in making a good quality video.
Did you at least get good money for it?
It was all right. It was nothing like I got after I got together with the serious people.
But
I mean, the money part is, the money part is for male performers, we make about like 3 to 4 times less than the women. But we get used if you're good and if you're able to be consistent and provide good performance, then you get used about 5 times as much as the girls do. Because once they do a scene or two for the guy, then they don't usually end up getting called back because they're kind of already been used. They've been done already, so people want to see always new girls. But for the guy, you're just a cock basically. So.
Well, you put that quite well, because I was going to say accessory, but that's usually what happens in the T-girl porn and in heterosexual porn with a man and a woman. Then the man usually doesn't get paid as much because they're enjoying themselves usually most of the time, and basically the people who are purchasing those videos are not looking at the guy. So you're right; they're only just basically watching where your penis goes.
That's it. I think there was times before where. Go ahead.
There is a lot of legitimate gay porn producers out there, by the way. I'm sure you know that. And there is a lot of money. There's a lot of money in that. If you find a legitimate gay, they'll pay you more than what they would pay you to do T-girl movies. But I'm sure you know that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that. But me, I consider myself to be straight, so. Like the gay porn is something I would only do if I was desperate for it, because I don't enjoy that pretty much at all. But having T-girls, they still get the breasts and the long hair and the curves and that type of stuff. So it's a little bit easier to work with, to be able to perform with them.
So basically, it's not that the offers aren't out there for you to do gay porn. It's just that you choose not to because you don't need to at this point, is what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just so you know, I'm not trying to talk you into doing gay porn.
Well, we don't do porn.
No, we don't shoot porn anymore. If we did, it would.
Yeah, I remember you guys told me before you did those type of things.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. We did the T-girl videos, and we did get a lot of gay porn as well, but. It's something that, you do something for a while and then you just move on to something else. So we have just, selected to move on. It's not as if we didn't, we decided, we don't want to do that anymore. So it was fascinating. It's an interesting world, and we liked dealing with a lot of the models that we were dealing with. But I'd also like to talk to you about product. Basically, one can't find you, Alex.
Find me for what purposes?
Well, let's say someone wants to book you for escorting, which, by the way, doesn't include you. You're not charging money for sex, obviously, but escorting. So
that's right, companionship.
Yes, companionship. So if someone wants to find you for that, it's how do they find you? Do they find you under the name Alexander Long? Are you consistent with your brand name, or is that not even your brand name?
Alexander Long is the one that's I use for escorting. The one I use for porn is Alex Rasputin. So I have, at the moment, I'm not actually...
We missed that whole bit there.
Yeah, it cut out.
Cut right out.
All right. Alexander Long is the one that I use for escorting, or usually just Alexander. And for porn, I use Alex Rasputin. Well, once again, sometimes they end up just putting Alex there, like Alex and the Nico or something like that, But as far as where I advertise, I used to advertise on a lot of different websites, such as Backpage, Rentboy. Those are probably the two best ones that I could say. Other ones is like Our Boy, Squirt. There's a couple other masseuses websites. But at the moment, I've built up a pretty good clientele, so I'm just working for my regulars that already know me. I don't need to put myself out there to get like new clients and stuff. So I'm not doing as much advertising as I used to before.
That would certainly explain it then. I was just wondering for people who are listening who may want to contact you. So basically you're not looking for any more contacts. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing nice and steady right now, so I'm not throwing myself out there as much as I used to before. But if I could recommend, then I would definitely say Backpages and Rentboy. Those are the two most reliable ones that you can actually get your money worth out of. Those are also the two most expensive ones, but they're definitely worth their money.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, if someone wants to find any of your videos that you're on, would they just go over to shemaleyoung.com or?
Yeah, I'm not exactly too sure where they distribute the videos because I guess my producer or photographer, he shoots it, and then he...
we missed the name. Is it Kevin you're talking about?
That's right, yeah, Kevin Dong.
Okay, Kevin Dong, yeah, okay.
And then,
did you ever end up... You ended up doing a solo, though, at one point, right? Or did this guy never release it?
I'm not sure. I've never saw it. I've never talked to him after that one shoot. So I'm not even sure if it's maybe floating around one of the free websites or if it's maybe on a paid website. I have no idea. It's kind of something that you need to come to accept when you're doing porn like that. You don't know. A lot of people think they ask me, do I get any royalties or something from it when people view the video? It does not work like that. As soon as you're done with it, you have absolutely no control over what happens to it.
You're absolutely right. You don't. That's pretty standard. This is not television and movies. This is when it comes to porn and such. You just make sure you get paid enough that you feel is going to be enough money for you. Because I know we used to get that question before with our models, and the male models kind of go, well, how much are you making off of my video? And it's like, well, I'd have to divide that by 500 because we have 500 boys on our site. So how much money are you bringing in for us? You can't really calculate that. So so when it comes down, but the reason I was mentioning a solo is like if you had a solo video out there, that could go hand in hand with your escorting career. Escorts can make more money if they can prove themselves to be porn models or have some sort of a video out there for their future clientele to look at and go, oh, I want to check this guy out. So that's why I was mentioning that to you. So if you ever decide to do clients again, then that's maybe a route you might want to go. Just produce your own or get Kevin to do a solo of you and use that as more promotion for yourself.
Well, that's right. I absolutely agree. I heard a couple of people like when I tell sometimes my clients that I do this type of porn, and I kind of like bounced that idea off of them about me mentioning on my advertisements before about what I do there, and I got mixed responses in terms of like most of my clientele for escorting is men who just also want to get together with other men, preferably like the top like I am, more straight acting. So sometimes when they hear that I do it with like she-males, they kind of get a little bit turned off, some of them, because they're not really into that. They're not really into that scene.
No, you're absolutely right. It's different worlds. It's it's like when you're selecting two different names, which you explained to me.
You're branding
you don't
yourself,
want to mix
basically.
your worlds. Yeah. Yeah, mixing your world. And you're right, a lot of gays, and Todd will attest to that, a lot of the gay men that would come to our Wednesday night porn shoots, they didn't want to see any of the guys with T-girls or even with women. They want to see the guys with other men or doing solo by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of, not that when I was researching and looking for, work on in front of the camera, I did not see a lot of advertisements, a lot of people asking for guys to do solos. It's mostly hardcore scenes or scenes with she-males.
Yeah, there's not as much porn anyways around in our areas. It's more in the States.
Yeah,
it's not a big Canada thing. Yeah, it's the States or Europe mostly. And you're right, because a solo jerk-off video, it's something where you wouldn't get paid a lot anyway because it's solo. But what I was suggesting to you is if you produce your own solo video, so you have it, and then if you put yourself together a small website, so it's all about you on your website, then you could sell it yourself. So that's what I was talking about, and it becomes part of your package.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And there was actually a guy that I met at your club before, maybe a few weeks before, and he started out doing escorting, and then he moved into the adult business, and he opened up the website himself, where he was just starting to do like solos, and then maybe with like a few other guys that would do it, and then it really took off for him. And he's actually living in LA now, and he's doing very well for himself. He's got his website is running smoothly. He's got a bunch of subscribers, members, and he's doing very good. I don't know if you guys ever know, it's Brent Everett or something like that. I'm not exactly sure if I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, there is a Brent Everett. Was he at our club? I don't remember him being at our club. Todd, was he?
No, I think he said at a club.
Oh, at a club. I thought you said our club.
No. Yeah. It was your club that I was talking about.
Oh, he was there himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't. Okay, cool.
How would you not notice Brett Everett?
I don't know. There's no way. But if he says he was there, he was there. I'm not arguing. But that's odd.
Yeah, Brent is basically taking charge of his own career. Pierre Fitch is another one, a Canadian porn star, and he's taking care of his own. He has his own website now, and he does his own home cam, and he makes his own money. It's all coming to him, and there's a lot of enterprising young porn stars out there that do that route. Other ones, they can't be bothered doing all the marketing and business part of it, so that's why they will go to an agency and let them deal with it. I guess it depends on the individual.
It's actually, now that you mentioned like webcam and stuff, that's actually something that I've been researching a little bit lately. I heard a lot of people tell me that webcams are really good, that you go on the websites and you take people to private shows, and you work from home. You work about like 5-6 hours per week, and once you build up a steady clientele, it's also very easy to get an income from that.
And there's a lot of networking with campsites too. Also, you can be on 3 different cams at the same time, on 3 different websites. Yeah, so if you're able to put it all
that's
together,
interesting.
you could be making, a few bucks there, a few bucks there, all at the same time. And plus, you're doing your own home cam from your own website, so you're getting 100% of the money comes to you from your own website, but you're still making a few tokens or tips from other websites at the same time on one camera. So, yeah, a lot of people have figured that out. It's like I said, a lot of porn stars are becoming very entrepreneurs, and they're figuring all of that out.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunities out there if you put yourself in the right mindset and start going towards it, start going after it, and you definitely do very good.
So tell us a little more about what things do you like to do? Are you you like sports and things like that? Some of your interests.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I cut out on the last part there.
Okay, and you cut out too.
Okay.
This is odd, isn't it? All these big blank spaces. People are listening to this are going to think that we're censoring our shows, Todd. So, Alex, I was saying, what kind of interests do you have outside of the escorting and the porn?
Well, as far as sports you mentioned, I just basically play volleyball whenever I have the opportunity to do it, and I've actually been doing a lot of interesting stuff because I have one client who's marketing director for a radio show, and
one client
he
cut out right
basically supplies me with a lot of different tickets to events that he gets for free. So I go to auto shows, operas, different movies, restaurants and stuff like that. He gets certificates for that sometimes. So it makes it definitely interesting for me.
Alex, you mentioned opera. I thought that was kind of interesting. It didn't fit with all the rest. Not that it has to, but so you enjoy opera, or you just go because someone gave you a free ticket?
Well, it was basically because I got the free ticket. I mean, I could have ended up just putting it online and getting the money for it, but I figured, try experimenting, try doing a little something interesting. It was actually, I don't know if it's actually considered an opera. It was that play that they had, like War Horse or something, and they had it at the movies there.
I've never heard of that. War Horse, but of course, it's not as if I know everything. I only know 10 things.
Well, actually, and then I went to the ballet. I got these really good tickets he gave me. It was for the Bolshoi ballet when I was here in town, and I actually ended up taking my mother there for her. I forget what it was. It was either her birthday or the Mother's Day or something. So she loved it because it's Bolshoi ballet. It's very big in Russia, and she was just in awe of it. And tickets were amazing. It was just right up front, so we could see all the ballerinas dancing right in front of you. It's pretty amazing. Obviously, I never told her. No, obviously I never told her where I got the tickets from.
Oh, I'm assuming your mother's not on the internet. God bless her.
No, not at all. She's if she would ever to find out, no, she will never ever find this out. I do quite a bit of a.
There's a lot of people out there that are hoping that their moms and dads never get on the internet.
Yeah, I make quite an effort that she does not come across that. And before, actually, when I first started with escorting and I was putting up ads, I was sort of afraid of relatives and stuff finding out. So I used to put advertisements that only included.
Well, sorry, you said when you first got started with escorting, then it blacked out.
Yeah. When I first got started out, I was afraid of relatives finding out or family members or friends. So I would only, the pictures I would post would only include my lips and the head would be cut off because I was afraid. But then after I talked to, I met a few other people in the business that work, and then they told me, the only way that somebody would see that type of thing if they're involved in type of thing like that, they're interested in looking at that. Other than that, it's safe. And after that, I started putting up pictures with my face, and so far so good.
That was one of my big lines to people, wasn't it, Todd? I used to say, because they would go, "Oh, I'm hoping my friends don't see this, me doing a video with T-girls," and I go, "Well, what's your friend doing on our website?"
Right. But like I said, the only way that those type of people would be interested on going to those type of websites if they're in that, if they're also in that field, if they're gay or if they do the same type of thing as you do. There's almost like 0% chances of some of your friends just waking up randomly and going, "Oh, hey, today I think I'm going to go check out some gay websites and see what I see there."
You're absolutely right. So they're not in a position to say anything. It's the guys asked me about that with a nightclub too. Well, I'm worried. I don't want to come to a T-girl, come and see T-girls at a nightclub in case my friends walk in. And I'm going, well, if your friends walk in, that's a good thing. You'll have buddies who can relate to you. It's like, so you're all obviously into it. So
you'll have something to connect with.
I had to walk somebody down the back fire escape once because his boss was there, and he just didn't. But I was like, but that's good, isn't it? In his particular case, he didn't want to cross that bridge. So we had a fire escape. So.
I didn't know you were escorting people out the fire escape.
I did once. I do whatever I have to do to make our customers comfortable, right?
Well, good for you. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I love about you guys, Club. You're very accommodating to everybody that comes there. That's very good.
Well, we've mentioned this, but Todd and I have mentioned this before on the show and many times to people when they've talked to us. Our clientele, our customers that come into our nightclub, number one is to make sure that they're comfortable and they're safe. And that's very important to us. It's extremely important because they have their privacy and, they're entitled to that privacy. And another thing you may notice with escorts when it comes to whether they're T-girls, women, or men, the escort business, if you're talking about legitimate escorts, they do not reveal that kind of information to people. They're probably the safest people you can be with because they can't afford to lose their business. Exactly, yeah.
Oh, there's a code of ethics. I was an escort for 10 years at least, more like 15, and I still now to this day will not talk about who my clients were to people. That stays with me.
Oh yeah. Like same thing when I mentioned the thing earlier about the guy that gives me tickets. I would never ever say like his name, and I've actually had a few celebrity clients of mine that at first I recognized them, and I'm like, wait, you're this guy? Like I used to see you on TV, and like at first he was denying. He's like, no, it's not me. I'm like, oh, it's you. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. That's the number one thing, especially when you're seeing men who are gay, because I see a lot of men. Like I'd say, most of them are married and married with like kids and a wife, and the number one thing that you're selling is like discretion. You're never ever gonna like call them back without them calling you first or send them a text message or none of those things. That's just a professional or like code of ethics, like Todd mentioned.
You're absolutely right. Otherwise, the business could just crash into nothing. And I think a lot of people who are in the sex industry need to know that if they don't already know that that's your job is to protect them. You're absolutely right, Alex. I was going to mention, I think and I mentioned earlier in the show before you came on, I think I've only met you once in passing. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we only bumped into each other once or twice when I was there with Kevin, and he just kind of introduced me. And I think that was like back maybe like 5-6 months ago when you guys were still doing your shows at the club there. Yeah,
I was saying that to Todd. I think I only remember once, and that Kevin introduced me to you. And in passing, it was a busy night, and we were planning. There was a show going on. There was something big going on, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't usually go unless there's something big going on. So, but anyway, I probably, and I'm hoping I didn't come across too short with you. I'm not very. In my head is another space. I don't want you to think I was being rude.
Oh, no, not at all. I worked as a bartender before myself, so I know what it's like. People come up to you and they come there and they want to have a word with you, but you still need to be able to take care of your own shit and then just say hi to them. So no, don't worry about it. You're fine.
Okay.
But next time that I see you though, you gotta be much better.
It's adorable you would say that on my radio show, but okay. Yeah, I promise we'll have a drink together or something. How's that? Okay.
I'm sorry, why you cut out? I think that was something important.
I said, well, yeah, next time I see you at the club, we'll have a drink together or something. I'll socialize a little more.
Sounds good to me.
There you are. It's an appointment there. We'll make an appointment. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, now, how tall are you? You're 6 foot something, right?
Yeah, 6'6".
Oh my God! So that's really tall. So, because you mentioned volleyball, and I thought, okay, well, that's a tall sport.
Mhm. And being so tall, I always the one question that everybody when they first see me, first question they always ask, do you play basketball?
Oh, yeah.
And then I always have to disappoint them and tell them no, it's actually volleyball that I play.
Yeah, well, you know how it is when you stand out in certain areas, people just put you in a little box and go, and ask typical questions. I was going to ask you about this. We had Kevin on the show before, Kevin Dong, and God bless him, okay, because Kevin is obviously going to be diplomatic, and he should, because he has to deal with a lot of people, and he has to keep dealing with people, so he has to be careful. But I was going to ask you, without mentioning names, did you have any bad experiences with any other model in a film?
I wouldn't say bad experiences. I would say just more difficult. I wouldn't say there was they were horrifying or bad or something like ended up happening really badly where somebody walked out. But it was just more difficult. Sometimes you just have really good chemistry. Like there was one video I did with I can't remember her name now, but it was one of the only ones that they actually released online for free that you can go and see without paying for it. And me and her, we right off the bat, we just had such a great chemistry, and you could see that on video. And that's the type of thing that they look for. They want you to have that good chemistry because it kind of translates back into the video. With some I had maybe only one or two that they were just it was just not there. It was just not happening, and that's the type of video that goes straight into the trash can,
Goes straight. Oh, just cut out again. Are you in a basement or anything?
No, I'm just sitting in my car here talking to you, in a wide open space.
Okay, it must be the software. It's yeah, okay. All right, yeah, we've
never had this much trouble with it before. It's a lot of cutting. We're missing a lot of. You have a lot of interesting things to say, and unfortunately, some of it is cutting out, and we're missing the really glorifying parts. It's well, then I bent her over and I. So it's like opening up a Christmas present, but nothing comes out. It's but it's okay. I'm sure we can piece it all together like a jigsaw puzzle. So that's what we'll do with this particular show. But some of the information you're sharing is interesting. People like to hear the nitty gritty, and we have guests periodically on our show who we think are going to just kind of. Wow, this person's really going to tell people the way it is with what they do, and then they don't. They censor everything, and it's like, well, what's the point if you're going to censor? And so we appreciate you not censoring. And again, I'll mention to people out there listening, the blanks that you're hearing is just the phone cutting out. He's not censoring, and we're not censoring what's being said here. Yeah,
No,
that's
not
an
at all.
important part of it. But,
One thing also, I wanted. Go ahead.
You go ahead. It's more important that you speak.
Okay. Now, when you mentioned like the nitty gritty, I have a lot of my friends. Well, not a lot, but just a few that I tell this the things that I do to, and they always ask me like, "Oh, so you do porn? Like that must be like awesome." A lot of people think that it's really just like a joke for a job. Like you go and you get to fuck on camera for money, and you get it back. It's not. It's actually a job. It's I found that out after a few times I did it. For us to film a 25 minute scene, it takes about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how well you communicate with the other model and how good it goes. There's pictures that you take before, which take about an hour or so to do, which every single position, like we do 5 positions per scene. So you take pictures in with every position. So you put those on there, then you actually start doing the actual video, and then in between different positions, like sometimes we would cut out, we would like look back at it and see which one we need to go to next, and then it always happens. Sometimes you end up losing your wood, so you have to get fluffed up and get ready for the next position. So it is work, and a lot of people think it's very easy to do, but it's stop and go sex. So you really need to be able to maintain that, and to be able to just get hard on the spot. And for the money shot, same thing. You need to be able to do that within like 5-10 minutes when they ask you. So if you're able to do that, then you're able to wrap up a scene in about 2 hours, like maybe an hour and a half. Sometimes I heard some other girls, they told me they were with other male performers, and it took them like 5-6 hours to film just the one scene because they could just not work with each other.
Mm.
Are you there, Mandy?
They could not work with each other, is what I heard last.
Yeah, that was.
Really? Is that all you heard?
You know, we're going to have to do with the is it the CD, those truckers when they're talking back and forth over, you know, whenever we're finished saying something because of the delays.
Hello.
Over.
Oh, you're cutting out really badly now.
See what I mean? It's just getting to that point. It's cutting out and being crazy. I was going to mention about I forgot what I was going to mention about. I think you kind of like threw me off there because that was so interesting. That last bit you were going on about was telling people what it's like on a set of a porn movie. It's important that people hear that because they don't, and you're right, they don't realize how difficult it is to do porn.
The final product that you see is it's already pieced together and edited. People don't see, like after I started doing it, now I actually look at any other adult video and I look at it and I don't actually even enjoy it as much as I used to before, because now I see and I'm just thinking like what kind of position the guy is taking and or where the edits and where the cuts are, you know.
Well, people used to think that about us when we did all that filming of tons and tons and tons of porn videos. They thought that maybe Todd and I were just having a great time, you know, watching the porn after it was done. And it's like when you shoot that at all. Exactly. And that includes the person who's shooting the video, just so you know. I've shot so many of them, it's like I don't watch my own work most of the time. It's not as if I sit there and enjoy the movie over when it's over. Because I know what had to happen to make it happen, and the reality part.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it's
I've only maybe seen about 2 or 3 of the videos that I've actually done myself.
Mhm. Well, when we had Kevin on the show, Kevin Dong on the show, he also mentioned something that I found was quite interesting, and he almost earned himself a spanking the next time I see him. And that was he made a comment to me that he thinks that all T-girls should be bottoms, and if they're not, then they're not really basically T-girls. And I remember him saying that, and I had to correct him because I had to make it clear to him that there's a lot of T-girls out there who are tops, and that doesn't make them any less feminine. Just like there's women out there who will put on a strap-on to fuck their man, or who are dominatrixes. You know,
right.
And so I thought it was kind of interesting. So I was going to ask you, do you feel that as well? Do you feel that all T-girls should be bottoms?
Well, I mean, I can't judge him for having his own opinion, but I do definitely see where he is coming from on this point.
I didn't get a single word out of that one, and this is probably an important question.
Well, repeat the question.
I was asking.
No, yeah, I got the question.
Okay.
Like I said, I can't judge him for having his own opinion, but I can definitely see where he is coming from on that, because T-girls, like what he was basically trying to say is T-girls are trying to be like girls, so they should be like bottoms, right? But they're not like girls. They're like a completely different breed. So I don't judge for that. Like I myself, like preference wise, I would prefer the ones who are bottom. I don't like to be with the ones that are top. They tend to be a little bit more like aggressive and stuff. So, but I don't think all of them should be bottoms. I think it's fine. You know, some are tops, some are bottoms. I don't think it's such a big deal, really.
Your personal taste, yes, definitely. But I just also want to say that not only is that comment that Kevin made,
you're cutting out again. I can't hear you.
It's not that it's even insulting towards T-girls in general. It's also it's insulting to females to assume that females have to be passive. So do you understand where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so and believe me, some of our women that are listening to this show are not going to like that comment. Especially a lot of women are they're empowering, and if they decide to be the sub, it's because they want to. It's not that they have to. And there's a lot of empowered women and empowered T-girls out there, and that's what they prefer. So it's about preference. It's not about genitalia.
Mm-hmm.
It's also ignoring the man. That's the part what I think I said to Kevin too. Is like, as somebody who's behind the bar and talks to these guys who, over the years, I've talked to probably more than 1,000 guys who like T-girls. So many of them, especially when we used to play porn at the lounge and stuff, it wasn't our porn, we would rent porn and stuff, and they'd be blatant. They'd be like, I want to see the videos where the girls are fucking the guys. That's what they wanted to see. Like, that's what they were asking for. So I mean, it's just like in all porn, you want to see both sides of it. Yeah,
there's definitely a big market for the guys who want to see that part, because otherwise, why would they be watching that type of porn if they're watching a girl with a dick? More than likely, they want to see her do something with it, right?
You're absolutely right. It's when I was an escort, as a T-girl escort, I got more calls and more repeats because I was a top. Because let's just put it this way, I was able to be a top. And that is a big selling point. And there's a lot of men out there, and it doesn't matter if they're T-girl admirers or if they are heterosexual males trying it for the first time. Most of them want to experience anal play. They just do.
Yeah.
And
it's not something. Yeah, go ahead.
I could safely say at least 80% of the men out there are more inclined to be bottoms when it comes to being with a T-girl. That doesn't mean they're bottoms in life, and that doesn't mean they're bottoms all the time. It's about experimentation.
I absolutely agree with you, and I know some guys they want to experiment and try those type of things, but unfortunately, just the way that they feel themselves sometimes, they can't bring themselves to be with a girl and to ask her to do those type of things, because they would feel, I think, a little bit, I don't know, self-conscious or something, if they ask just because a genetic girl to like stick 3 fingers in my ass, I think they would feel a little bit ashamed. So they would need to to experience that type of thing. They would go and talk to a G girl about that.
Yeah, well, you're probably right in most cases, yes. But I know there is a lot of straight men out there who have female partners, and it's something they've worked out between themselves, obviously. But
yeah, but you need to have a really, really strong connection to be able to do that with a girl, and for you to know that the girl is not going to turn around and be like, ew, like, are you gay? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you want me to do what to your ass? Like,
Eventually, the opinion that opinion for men will change, because women, like I said, they're becoming more empowered. Women are not like what they used to be, and women don't mind discussing those type of things with their man. They just don't. They're not going to be disgusted by it. In most cases, women are very open-minded. They always have been more open-minded than men have ever been. And believe me, I've lived in both worlds, so I know. And it's not as if the woman is going to, get pissed off and hate her man because of it. I think what has to be done is education, where men shouldn't feel that they're any less masculine just because they like to have their anus played with.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with homosexuality. It has nothing to do with being feminine. It is to do with the feeling.
We should start a movement like that, and next time there's going to be a gay parade.
I thought I did.
We're gonna.
I thought I did.
we're gonna bring a team, and we're gonna have like signs and stuff that to say it's not gay for a straight man to be wanting to have his asshole played with.
You're absolutely right.
I think we'll get a lot of followers on that.
Yeah. A lot of straight men who I was with as an escort, who I talked, a lot of them would be shocked. At the end of it, it always happens. The man puts on the guilty face and he gets all, does that make me gay? And then I used to have to explain to them, not even close, okay? Are you attracted to a man when you see one, and if he says no, you're not gay? Okay, so just because you like to have something in your ass does not make you gay. And that's what people have to stop thinking, that it's to do with a gay thing. It's to do with, a feeling that you may have, and if you want to have something put up your butt. And believe me, most men have already tried it before they even come to see a T-girl. They've experimented themselves. They know that it feels good up there. So I'm not saying everyone should do it. Okay, so just so you know, Alex, to make this clear, this is not an invitation. Okay? This is just basically explaining from one person to another so that we can clarify a little more out there, and so I can actually put the word out there for all T-girls like myself, or all women like myself who just prefer to be on top, which doesn't necessarily make them forceful or even dominant.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very sexy way of providing that kind of service, where it's not somebody being thrown down on a bed and then, forced to get it up the ass. It can be very sexy, and it can be something that can be done in a very slow manner, so it feels good.
Yeah, I see what you mean about that. There's a certain type of girls that they prefer either to be subs or on top. Like for me personally, I prefer to be the more dominant one, and sometimes actually, I don't know. Sometimes I also like to have the girl take the charge and just do things, and where I can just like lay back and not even lift a finger. But usually, I think most guys, they prefer to like the girls to be submissive, because it's just something to do with like your manhood, and just like grabbing a girl and like sticking her face in the pillow and just like going at it. That's something that makes you feel a little bit more empowered.
And that's exactly how women feel when they do it the other way. So as long as we remember that things can be both ways, when it comes to being a bottom myself, to give you from my point of view of it, it's my preference not to be a bottom. And that's only because it doesn't feel good to me. And if it doesn't feel good, why the hell am I going to do it? I'm not going to do it because some man's going to feel good doing it. But if I ever, let's say, go a full sex change and I get a vagina, that's a different situation. That may be a very wonderful experience for me to have a man enter me. But at that point,
that's a whole interesting. That's a whole interesting field that you just went into with the sex changes for girls and stuff. I've met a few post-ops lately, and I've always had a lot of questions, and some of the stuff that I hear is pretty surprising. Like, I'm very surprised at how far the modern day science has gone. Like, actually, some of the girls, like, first question that you usually ask post-ops is, are you able to get wet? Are you able to come? Like, do you enjoy it? And surprisingly, like, almost maybe like 80% of them say that, yes, they do. They do get wet when they're getting fucked, and they are actually able to come with after having SRS.
Yes, this is very true. We're hoping to have a sex change or a couple of sex changes on our show as we proceed on a weekly basis here, because that is definitely a subject people want to hear about and they want to talk about, and there isn't enough ladies out there that are talking about it publicly, and I think they should. But that being said, it has been a delight having you on this show, Alex. Thank you so much. And we'll be looking forward to... You're welcome, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at the club. For all those that want to meet Alex, you usually drop in, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays? Not necessarily all of the above, but...
So, sometimes, yeah. No, I should be there if not tomorrow, then Thursday, definitely.
Oh, yes. So drop by if you want to meet Alex.